Welcome to 10 Minute Treasure. My name's Jeff Pospisil, and this is going to be a little different one than usual. What I want to do is show you how to make Jeopardy, a Jeopardy game that you can play that'll be nice and functional. I used it quite a bit with my family as a nice family activity. I've used it with classes as kind of a review exercise, but I can show you one that'll do a really good job for you for free, or if you want to pay for a couple extra features, it's only $20 for a lifetime membership. But let's go ahead and go do that. All right, so here we are on JeopardyLabs.com, JeopardyLabs.com, that's one word, and I'll leave a link in the description. So main reason I use this is so I could make games, and I made it initially for our family, but then I ended up using it also as a resource when I was teaching. But there is a way to actually look up, there's over 2 million games made, and you could look for them. One of the things that I kind of struggle with is you can't tell how popular they are. You can see when they were made, and you can see what they look like real quick. So by hovering over it. And so if you do find one that you really like, you can go ahead and star it. Like I said, there's probably a way to search better. Actually, there's this search tips that'll help you. So anyway, like I said, I like to make them. And so if you do like to make them, you do need to create a login. So you can go ahead and sign up. You don't have to, by the way, pay the $20 to sign up. I just made a login and was able to save everything. So, but eventually I did pay the $20 because it does unlock a few different features and it helps support this. So I'm just going to show you what I want to do is I'll show you one that I created, and then I'll show you how I created it. So here is a regular Jeopardy game that I created for my Survey of Accounting class. And I hit F11 to make that full screen. And then normally I would right click and then cast it to a different screen. I'm going to hit start after I choose. You can have as many teams as you want, or you could say no teams. I never hit the custom button before. Oh, I'm curious what that's like. Anyway, I'm just going to hit 3 teams. You can rename the teams. So if you have different people or different teams that are guessing and competing against each other, then it works just like regular Jeopardy. You see when you float over it, it highlights it. And so if you were going to click one, so I'm just going to click Accounting Basics for 300. There are 2 main types of accounting. One is cash accounting. What is the other type? And if team 2 guesses wrong, you can go ahead and subtract it. Then I guess right. I say accrual, and I'm right, so I get the points. There's also, so that's if you want to put regular wording in there. You can put equations in there. I like to put pictures in there. So this is a former accountant and also Papa Elf. So he was an accountant before he was an elf, and that's Bob Newhart. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. One of the things that I started playing around with that I haven't done a whole lot with is integrating video. And so these are accounting songs. Maybe you already know that. I don't want to get a copyright. Maybe I'm going to, but I'm going to stop that. And that's AC/DC, I believe. Money Talks. All right. So now let me go ahead and show you how I created them. And I'm going to do that by showing you one that I've already started, because what I normally do is I just remake the one that I've already made. So here's the Pospisil Jeopardy. I've remade this one time and time again. So normally what I would do is I like this setup. I don't care really about the number values, 1, 2, 3, 4, 500. That's all fine. You can make the values different. You can make a different number of rows or columns if you want. But I normally choose the traditional setup, that 5x5. And so this one's set up, and you can see I just use pictures almost all the time. I use pictures because it's a lot easier with the family, and it's a lot easier for those people that might be slow readers or something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and just show you what I do is if I was going to restart this and make a new one for the family, I would go ahead and hover down on the bottom here and just hit delete and get rid of all these columns. And then I would think of my new categories. And so maybe one is Jeff's. And another one is, I don't know, food I like. Something like that. So what would I do then? I would normally then, I'm going to escape out of that. I would think, okay, Jeff's. What would I think about? How about Jeff Bezos? And I'm going to find a picture of him. So I click on images. Maybe I should zoom in a little bit. Well, and then I normally go to, it's this tools area right here, and choose size. And I choose medium. And the reason I do that is if you choose a picture that's too big, you're not going to be able to, it won't show up well on the screen. You only see part of it. Or if you choose a picture that's too small, it'll just show up really tiny on there. You don't want to just right click and copy the image, especially from here, because it'll just do the smaller version. So instead, what you want to do is look for one that's maybe about 600 at the tops. So 600 as the last number at the tops. So that one's right around the border of being too big. That one's 800. I don't know if you can see that, but 825 is probably too big as well. This one's 561, so probably really good. So I'm going to go ahead and now I can copy it. Copy this bigger image right here. Go back to my template. Paste it. So that's Control V, or I could just hit the paste right there. And then I would type in Jeff Bezos. And then you would just keep doing that. I mean, you could also say, who is Jeff? And I would have an answer, something like that. I could just type something in as well. You can also embed a video if you need to. That's how I did some of those. I'm not really going to go over that. And then if you don't like where they're at, you can just drag them to the spots you want them to be. So when you hover over it, you can drag it, or if you don't like it, period, you can just delete it. And once you get all this filled in, you save and finish, and then you're ready to go. And you can see I don't have a whole lot of stuff here. I just have two of them filled in. Who is Jeff? Jeff Pospisil. Jeff Bezos. You see how that fits in there really nicely? I mean, I can scroll down a little bit. I don't have this at full screen mode. If I did, I wouldn't have to scroll down really. So anyway, yeah, now I don't have to scroll down at all. So about 600 is about the right one. And that is how you do it in short. And like I said, you could do it with the free version. You could also change it if you want it something a little bit more private or hidden. But all mine are public. They're just not easy to find. Maybe I'll try to put one that's public for you to see it. All right, so that brings us to the end. Hopefully I inspired you to maybe make a Jeopardy game for your family, or maybe as a classroom activity, or with a youth group, or a work icebreaker activity. It is a really good tool. I've gotten hours and hours of good use at it. And the more you use it, the more you figure out what are good questions to ask. Because I've had some questions that are like so in the weeds that only an accountant in Mitchell, South Dakota named Jeff knows the answer, it feels like. But then there's other questions that are maybe too easy. So trying to find that line of where is a challenging question, but not an impossible question. So, all right, until next time, God bless.